Gasly just did his wonders. He drove the wheels off the car. He's very comfortable with that AlphaTauri. He knows where to push and where the limits are of the car. And I think when the time comes when they pull off the perfect strategy for him, he will end up way higher in the points.
He will, because he's the only driver that is actually rivaling the two McLarens and the two Ferraris.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's become a meme on social media. It's McLaren, Ferrari, Gasly. So, with a proper strategy, I honestly think Gasly can be just as quick as Norris, Leclerc and Sainz. Not yet talking about Ricciardo, but once again, Ricciardo had a much better weekend. But Ricciardo is still not on the pace of Norris. I think Gasly will easily be ahead of Ricciardo if his pace stays like it is now.
Yeah.
But still, guys, heading into the final three topics. Sensational 2 weeks from Ferrari after their France disaster. I mean, France, Sainz finished P11, Leclerc finished P16. We'll go to Styria, well, Austria, but go to the Styrian GP, P6 and P7. Go to Austria, P5, and okay, yeah, Leclerc finished P8, but that's thanks to Perez. Unfortunately, holding Leclerc up massively, but they recovered so well because France was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, France was really bad. They were just slow. There weren't any damage or anything. They were just off the pace. The race pace was completely nowhere, and I think they just went. They said, okay, we are not going to do that in Austria, and they showed it. They took the effort, they put in the time, and the strategies and everything was perfect. Just unlucky with this race. Leclerc stuck behind Perez and pushed off twice, but he still catched up.
Yes, he's still caught
after getting the tires dirty, so that ruins the tires way more than just driving.
And also, it's much easier to lock up when your tires are dirty.
Yeah.
So, no, honestly, sensational 2 weeks from Ferrari, and I hope they keep this pace. Obviously, Ferrari and McLaren are my two favorite teams, but if I have to choose my favorite, it's obviously going to be Ferrari. I've been a Ferrari fan since I've been a little boy. I want Ferrari to get P3 in the constructors. I want Ferrari to get back to the front of the grid. But I'm not going to be sad if McLaren get P3. It's just, I want this battle between Ferrari and McLaren to keep going. And with weekends like this, Ferrari is going to keep that fight. One thing that I do quickly want to mention, that I didn't put in the script. How the hell, I know Sainz started on the hard tires. I know. But how the hell did he stay out on the Styrian GP's medium tires for 48 laps before pitting onto a set of the Styrian GP softs, Austrian GP mediums? Obviously, that is why he caught up to Ricciardo eventually and got P5. How did he make those tires last so long? Fantastic driving from Carlos Sainz.
He drove perfectly, and I think this car was, with them knowing the tires are softer than the previous weekend, they made the car more friendlier to the tires than.
Very true.
Not a lot of the other teams made the car as friendly as the Sainz did to the tires, and that's why he did more laps than the tires should have done.
Yeah, I mean, Pirelli said the hard's max of 40. He did 48 laps, and not all of them were just lifting and coasting, driving nicely. Some of those laps he pushed like a madman.
Yeah, he pushed hard, and that just shows he is as close with Perez with conserving the tires. Very good.
Yes, no, most definitely. Everybody knows Sergio Perez is the tire preservation king, but Sainz really gave him a run for his money this weekend. And talking about Perez, into the penultimate topic, obviously I already ranted about the whole Perez situation, but it's just really unlucky for Leclerc, because if you look at the pace that Sainz had, Leclerc, with all due respect, should have been in P6 behind Sainz. He should have been ahead of Perez and ahead of Ricciardo. But due to Perez pushing him off the track twice, he couldn't make a move because his tires got dirty and they scrubbed more. So I'm just really sad for Leclerc's sake, and because he should have been in P6. As far as I'm concerned, he should have been ahead of Ricciardo and Sergio.
Yeah, he should have finished ahead of them, but I think what's important for him, he needs to forget about that unlucky and bad stuff and not be as angry, because it's easy to stay angry with that hatred, because he was faster and he was pushed off. So I think for Silverstone this weekend, he needs to forget about it and just focus on being as fast as he can.
No, look, we're talking about Charles Leclerc. I'm sure he would have put it behind him already. I just, like I said, Perez really drove sloppy this weekend. But if the Ferrari has that good a pace, remember, the tracks where they were quick were tracks where there was high downforce sectors, Monaco being a high downforce track and Baku being a high downforce middle sector. Silverstone might be a top speed track, but it's still a high downforce track because you take so many of those corners at such speed. I think Ferrari can really be strong at Silverstone.
Yeah,
if they play their cars right, they can be quicker than McLaren.
Yeah, the chances of them being quick there are very good, and it's no secret Ferraris were quicker at Silverstone even in previous years.
In previous seasons, yes.
So it's going to be very exciting to see what happens.
Oh no, most definitely.
And there's 2 races for Ferrari to improve.
Very good point there. We've got a sprint race and a main race on Sunday. Guys, by the way, directly after this podcast, make sure to check out the podcast where we explain the format of this whole sprint race, sprint quali, whatever Formula 1 want to call it, for the British Grand Prix, because they're doing it also in Italy at Monza and in Mexico at Circuit Hermanos Rodriguez. So if you want to know how this works, make sure to check out the podcast after this. I can guarantee you guys it's not going to be a long one because it's not a lot to talk about, but just so you guys have our opinions and know how the format of the weekend works. And into the final topic, and Boosted, I don't think we're going to talk a lot about this because we talked about it in the previous podcast a lot, but as far as I'm concerned, Carlos Sainz has been the most improved driver of all the drivers on the grid. When you look at a driver improving themselves, while he's still adapting to a new car and a new team, Sainz for me this season has been the most improved driver so far. You know those little awards you get on school if you do like dancing or culture or anything, and you're like, you're the most improved pupil of the year. That is Sainz's reward for me this year. He's improved so much this year.
Yeah, he improved so much, and I think if he would have stayed in the same car, I think he would be the one that was faster maybe than Norris.
I also think so, because Sainz was quick in the McLaren last year. He had better race pace than Norris. I think if Sainz and Norris were still in the same car, it would have been a very, very close teammate battle. And obviously I think all the Sainz/Norris bromance fans out there would have loved to see them just, better their relationship still. But like we said in the previous podcast, Sainz is busy bromancing with Leclerc now. So wherever Sainz goes, a bromance follows. So, but I do agree with you. I think Sainz would have actually done what Ricciardo is currently not able to do if he stayed at McLaren. But honestly, Sainz and Gasly are my 2 favorite drivers when it comes to the younger drivers after the old guys are gone. And I am so happy to see Sainz actually, in certain situations, he can outperform Leclerc.
Yeah, and I think with him moving to Ferrari and him adapting so quickly, he hit the ground running. He's gonna make the Ferrari a front runner car again with Leclerc, and he's gonna make sure he's able to battle for the championship.
Oh yes, I said it because I felt when Sainz was at McLaren, due to Norris's massive fan hype, I always said Sainz is one of the most underrated drivers on the grid, and he's proving it this year. He is not slow, he is damn quick, and he knows how to get pace out of a car. I can't wait to see what the future holds for Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc in my favorite team. But guys, that has been the topics for this podcast.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie to you, my throat feels like a grater. But let's head into the driver ratings. I will start this week with the driver ratings. So the 2 harsh drivers, Mazepin and Schumacher, both got a 3 out of 10. Yay! No, what's there to say about Haas?
Yeah.
And then the 2 Williams drivers of Latifi and Russell. Latifi did actually this week finish ahead of Schumacher, so Latifi had a decent weekend. He gets a 5 out of 10. And George Russell, obviously... Hey guys, it's me again. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. Guys, just a quick thing. The recording was once again a bit laggy. So just quickly to give you guys the points for Russell and Giovinazzi. So George Russell got a 9 out of 10 for his excellent performance in Austria, and Giovinazzi got a 5 out of 10. Just not a lot of screen time. So yeah, that's their 2 points, and we'll continue on with Raikkonen as we go on with Super Boosted. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Just
Once again, not a lot of screen time. He's just there.
And Raikkonen the same.
Raikkonen had a 4, gets a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4 out of 10. I can't even. Raikkonen finishing 15th with Giovinazzi 15. So,
but remember, Raikkonen was involved in that crash with Vettel on the final lap.
Yeah, so it was like why he did that was also a question we'll never know the answer to
because he was busy battling with Vettel and Russell for P11. And he was on the verge of making an overtake on Russell when he had a little bit of a tank slapper heading into the corner. He was a little bit hard on the brakes, so the rear end stepped, and that's why Vettel went up his inside. But I mean, even if Raikkonen finished 12th in that car, that was an easy 7, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, but
stupid mistake to run into Vettel.
It was a dumb mistake. So, and going to the Aston Martin, Stroll 5 out of 10, and Vettel also 5 out of 10. Unlucky he got in that accident and didn't finish, but
Vettel and Stroll didn't have good race pace this weekend. Unlike last week where the Astons were actually on quite good pace, and they looked strong on Friday practice 1 and 2. They just had no race pace. So there's not much more to give them than a 5 out of 10. They did what they could. And no points for Aston Martin, unfortunately, when it comes to their literal drivers and constructors championships. Heading in towards the 2 Alpines and Alpha Tauris. It's all the A's. I'm still not over it. Esteban Ocon, terrible qualifying. Out before even lap 1 was done. The safety car drove more laps than Esteban Ocon. But I still feel some of the Motorsport Lounge members are way too friendly. So Ocon gets a 4 out of 10. I honestly gave him a 0. In qualify, he was out in Q1, where his teammate was able to get to Q3 if he wasn't blocked, because Alonso was up by 6/10 on his lap before Vettel blocked him. 6/10, they would have pushed him up, I think, to something like 5th or 4th. So, with Ocon, honestly, if it was up to me, I would have given him a 0. But due to my fellow Motorsport Lounge members being very, very understanding and just way too friendly, he gets a 4 out of 10. Alonso, fantastic race, fantastic battle with Russell, and even though he ended ahead of Russell, he is in a quicker car. So Alonso gets a 7 out of 10. Solid performance. Yuki Tsunoda, P12 in the end. Just the 2-stop strategy didn't work for Tsunoda, a lot of traffic, but he still had a decent race. A 5 out of 10. I don't feel that's too harsh. And I can't believe you guys gave Gasly a 6 out of 10, but obviously I know people look at it differently, but Gasly gets a 6 out of 10. Still fantastic performance in my opinion from Gasly. Boosted, you've got the 2 McLarens and the 2 Scarlet Red Ferraris.
Yeah, Ricciardo, he did better this weekend. He had a good
race.
He had a good race, so he got 8 out of 10. Norris, the obvious 11 out of 10 because he did fantastic.
He qualified P2 and still got on the podium with the 5-second penalty.
Yeah. What more can you ask? Sainz, 9 out of 10. He passed Ricciardo. He was preserved the hard tires. Excellent. So 9 out. No. Sainz got 9 out of 10. Leclerc 8 out of 10. I think he would have got more if he passed Perez and Ricciardo.
And just a quick thing before we move on to Mercedes. Remember, Perez had a 10-second penalty, and Sainz, after getting past Ricciardo, still managed to catch Perez to get within that 10-second gap to get P5. So, fantastic weekend from Sainz. And then I've got the final forecast, the 2 black Mercedes and the 2 navy blue Red Bulls with their very boring, not boring, sexy livery, but still just too plain when it comes to the cars look like that for 10 years now. Not the point. If that car looks like that again next year, I will rage. I'm not even going to lie to you, I'm going to rage.
It's going to.
Don't ruin my life.
It's going to.
Okay, Valtteri Bottas. Guys, we gave Valtteri a 7 out of 10. Solid weekend from Valtteri. Just a shame that he got stuck behind Lewis thanks to Mercedes. Hamilton, unfortunately, made the mistake into turn 1, damaged his own floor, and just had no pace to stick with Verstappen. 6 out of 10 for Lewis. Perez, however, I think I gave Perez a 2 out of 10. when I rated him off
Yeah,
for this terrible
think so.
weekend. So, but overall, Perez gets. I can't believe you guys. This makes no sense to me. You guys give Ocon a 4 out of 10, who didn't even get to the end of lap 1, but you give Perez a 3 out of 10, who actually finished the race, even though he drove crap. I don't understand it, not the point. Perez gets a 3 out of 10. I don't even think he deserves that, not the point. And then the man of the Red Bull Ring, his 4th win at that track, Max Verstappen, a solid 10 out of 10. Once again, 2nd week in a row, Max has gotten a 10 out of 10. So after the next race at Silverstone, you guys will once again get the points that we give the drivers individually to see who's driver of the season. And honestly, I still think Max is going to lead the way behind Norris.
Yeah.
Not the point. So Verstappen 10 out of 10, beautiful weekend from Red Bull. Now Boosted, quickly read us the combined Constructors Championship after the previous round in Styria.
Okay, after Styria, Haas was in P10 with 62 points. Williams closing the gap to Alfa Romeo with 85 points. Alfa Romeo in P8 with 96 points. P7 Alfa. Oh my gosh! AlphaTauri with 103 points, closing to Alpine, who's closing to Aston Martin and Mercedes. Alpine with in P6 with 105 points. Aston Martin and Mercedes tied in 4th place. It's at 106 points. McLaren in 3rd place, still chasing after Ferrari and Red Bull with 123 points. Ferrari P2 with 128 points, and Red Bull just, I think, running away at 145 points.
If Verstappen keeps performing like he's performing, Red Bull are going to run away. Now guys, the standings after the Austrian Grand Prix after round 9, Haas are still in P10 with 68 points. 9th place is Williams on 99 points, 1 digit away from a triple digit. One number away from a triple digit, 1 point. Alfa Romeo are in P8 with 105 points, just behind AlphaTauri in P7 on 114 points. Alpine and Aston Martin are tied in P5 on 116 points, just behind Mercedes in P4 on 119 points. Then you've got the top 3 battle, where the top 3 teams are really running away from the rest of the grid. McLaren are still occupying P3 on 142 points, only 3 points behind Ferrari in P2 on 145 points. And obviously McLaren and Ferrari had a better score when you come to both drivers than Red Bull this weekend, thanks to Perez having a really sloppy weekend. But Red Bull still lead the way on 158 points. Now, the fun part of the podcast, well, the most fun part of the podcast, 2021 Austrian Grand Prix predictions. I think we're going to do 1-1 today. So you can go first. Boosted, you can read my predictions and the points that I got.
Okay, you predicted Gasly in the top 8 in qualifying,
Which I got because he qualified P7 if I'm not mistaken, or P6.
I can't remember. Vettel top 10 in a race and crash in the first 10 laps.
Which did not happen. I only got the point for Gasly qualifying.
You read Ocon.
Huh?
Ocon, safety car.
Wait a minute! I got 10 points! Boosted! You freaking king! We need to... Okay, wait. Guys, we're going to pause the podcast because I need to recalculate the points. Guys, wait just a second. Like Boosty just said, Ocon DNF'd halfway through lap 1. So I actually got 10 points because there was a crash in the first 10 laps and a safety car. Yay me! Now guys, I'm moving on to Demi. Demi said Ricciardo top 10, which she got 5 points for. Sainz and Leclerc battle on track, which unfortunately I couldn't give her because Ferrari told Leclerc to let Sainz pass. They weren't racing, so Ferrari literally went on the radio to Leclerc and said, please let Sainz pass, fresher tyres, and he's got better pace, and Leclerc let Sainz go. So I unfortunately couldn't give Demi that because then she would have gotten her full 16 points, but they didn't battle. Leclerc let Sainz go. And then Bottas on the podium, he got P2, so Demi would nearly have been the second person on the Motorsport Lounge to get a full 16 points, but I'm sure she'll get it eventually this season. So Demi got 10 points for Bottas podium and Ricciardo top 10. Boosted, read your own predictions.
My predictions was Leclerc top 5, which didn't happen.
Unfortunately.
Russell top 12,
which you got.
And Perez beat Bottas. If he didn't go off the track, You would have.
if he didn't have a sloppy weekend, so you get 5 points. Melanie said the first person to get a full 16 points in the previous podcast. She once again had a good week with the predictions. She said Ferrari top 5, thank you Carlos Sainz, which she got her 5 points. Both Red Bulls on the podium, which unfortunately she did not get. Then she would have had another 16 points weekend. Then she would have been leading by a far margin. And Norris top 7, so she got points for Ferrari top 5 and Norris top 7. 10 points for Melanie. Boosted, you've got Jonny.
Jonny predicted Ferrari top 10, which both were in the top 10.
Yes.
Russell top 10, so close.
You missed out by 1 position. There were 3 laps to go.
And a Red
A Red Bull. Red Bull. Whee!
Red Bull 1-2. What? No. So he only got 5 points.
Then Jess, his sister, said a Ferrari top 10, which she did, which both Ferraris were once again in the top 10. Russell top 10, same as her brother, so Jess unfortunately lost that 1 point, well, those 5 points. And then she said a Red Bull top 5, which Verstappen did get in the end because he won, so that's 10 points for Jess. You got Janco boosted.
Janco predicted Gasly in the top 10, which
He did get 5
Norris
points.
top
8.
You know he got all 3.
Wait a minute.
Safety.
Because I forgot about the safety car. Okay, so Janco is the second person who gets a full 16 points.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay. Clearly I was tired when I did this because I
Yeah,
was.
you were non-existent. Your brain was on vacation. You were here.
Okay, so Norris, top 8, which he got, and safety car in the first 15 laps because of Ocon. So Janco gets 16 points. I'm sorry, Janco! Okay guys, Boosted has decided he's gonna be a tall man where he stand because his bum is hurting. First of all, once again, I apologize to Janco because he literally got 16 points with his predictions. Well done, second member of the Motorsport Lounge to get that after Melanie. Boosted, read Jadepie's predictions and her points, and then you can even go into the standings after round 8 in stereo.
Okay. Jadepie predicted Verstappen podium. She got that. Perez top 5 with the 10-second penalty. He missed out with 1 place.
Yes.
And Ricardo top 8. He got 7. So she got 10 points. The standing after the previous round is Janco 8th place with 15 points. Jadepie with in 7th place with 20 points. A 3-way tie in 4th with Turbo, Demi and Jess with 35 points. I'm in 3rd place with 40 points. Melanie with 1 point ahead of me. Lucky. In 2nd place with 41 points, and Jonny taking the lead with 45 points.
Now, the standings after round 9, after I had to fix all the mistakes that I made. Once again, I apologize to you guys as the viewers and the Motorsport Lounge members, but everything is fixed now. Jadepie is unfortunately in last place now on 30 points, thanks to Janco getting 16 points. He's now in 7th on 31 points. It's a 4-way tie now for P3 between myself, Boosted, Jess and Demi on 45 points, and then Jonny is in P2 on 50 points. And because Melanie got 10 points this round and Jonny only 5, Melanie is leading the way on 51 points, 1 point ahead of Jonny. Now heading in towards the 2021 British Grand Prix predictions. Boosted, you've got myself and Demi to do.
Okay, you predicted a sprint quali crash, so the quali race, there's someone gonna crash. Red Bull podium, and then a Ferrari top 10.
Yes.
Which I see possibly happening. So you just have to hope with someone crashing.
Yes, in the sprint race.
Demi said Max podium, Hamilton a podium, and Ocon in the points. So she basically has 2 almost guaranteed, and then Ocon just needs to do his job.
Yes. Then Boosted, you said a Ricardo top 8, Gasly in the top 10, and a Latifi top 15. Okay, you're going bold with that one.
Yeah, we have to go a little bit bold, and I'm trying to pick all the drivers because we can't keep doing the same old.
Very true, very true. And then Jess said Max misses his signature podium celebration where he sits on the car. That's a very interesting prediction. So I love it. Leclerc top 10 and a Norris top 5. I think Norris is going to struggle this weekend with the Ferraris maybe being quick, but you never know. Boosted, you've got Jonny and Jadepie.
Okay, Jonny predicted Russell in top 10 in qualifying.
In three, okay.
So that's Friday, with sprint race.
A wet ooh.
And Norris top 5.
That he said to me, that's for the main race on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and then Jadepie?
Jadepie predicted Verstappen podium, Norris top 8 and Ricciardo top 10.
She can actually get 16 points for this.
Yes.
That's a very big possibility. Okay, final two. Janco said Norris top 10 in quali, so that's on Friday evening. Verstappen podium and Ferrari top 10. Frickin' hell, I think Janco's getting another 16 points. But he and Jadepie need to catch up, so them I've got grace with until they've caught up. Melanie said a Red Bull podium, a Ferrari top 7 and a Hamilton podium. I think Melanie is really wanting this win. Basically, okay guys, now that we read the predictions before we end off today, Boosted, I'm also going to tell you the winner at the end of the year with this whole little predictions championship of ours, they need to tell every one of the other members what chocolate to buy them, or the other 7 can pitch in and buy you one expensive chocolate, like a Toblerone or a Ferrero Rocher or something like that. So basically it's a small reward for now, but everybody is playing, so the winner at the end of the season, you can tell everybody to buy you a specific chocolate, or everybody can buy you one expensive chocolate.
I'm gonna win.
Okay guys, that has been this podcast for the Austrian Grand Prix. I so nearly said Styrian Grand Prix now because I keep stopping them around. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Before we leave you with our final thoughts heading into Silverstone, make sure to drop a like down below on the podcast. That helps us out a lot with the latest YouTube algorithm. So make sure to hit that like. Go check out the links in the description down below to look at all these beautiful Motorsport Lounge members on social media. All of their Instagram handles are down below. Check out Falcon Gaming as well as my second YouTube channel, Ford So Watch Gaming. And finally, if you're new to the channel, you know what, Boosted, you can do this part.
Please go smash that subscribe button and put that notification button, because otherwise you don't know when to watch.
I would want to watch every video.
Yeah. What else to do with a lockdown?
Thank you very much.
And just leave a like button, because then the YouTube algorithm likes us more.
Yes, and we can talk a lot more crap with you guys watching and listening.
Yes.
So guys, that's been the podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Boosted, your final thoughts heading into the British Grand Prix this weekend.
Thoughts for the race? Think Sunday there's gonna be someone with an engine failure.
A little bit of a bold prediction there from that side. Guys, my final thoughts. I honestly, you guys are going to hear it from me now on the podcast where we talk about the race format for this weekend. I'm excited. I think I really take my hat off to Formula One trying a new format to spice things up a bit. Even though most of the Formula One community don't agree, I'm actually on the other side. I agree with this. But we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping for an exciting weekend. So let's head to the British Grand Prix. Boosted, say your goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Chitty. Guys, I'll see y'all for the next podcast. Make sure to watch the format for the British Grand Prix. Cheers!